So the Trans-Pacific Partnership is a so-called free trade deal that we've been discussing a lot lately on the show, and it's currently being negotiated. Of course, the Obama administration is doing that. Congress weighs in at least a little bit right now, and they want to give Obama what's called fast-track authority in the negotiations, and that means that he wouldn't even need to approve anything through Congress and run the provisions by Congress. He can finish negotiating the deal, and then later on, he allows them into the process, maybe. So it's a really weird unitary executive theory move. It's kind of tyrannical, and it's also terrible because we're talking about a deal that would greatly affect American jobs. And the best way to describe this thing is NAFTA or CAFTA or any of the other free trade deals on steroids. And if you remember, the leaked provisions that we got through WikiLeaks up to this point are truly terrifying. I mean, the TPP obviously would outsource more U.S. jobs, whatever remaining decent pay jobs we have here. It's a race to the bottom. It makes corporations have equal legal status as governments in some countries. Stop and think about that. I mean, that's truly a scary thing that in some second world, third world countries, you have multinational corporations come in there, and if there happens to be some anti-pollution laws on the books or child labor laws or building codes, it makes it so that the corporations can say, yeah, we disagree, and we just don't really want to implement them, and we have equal say to you, so piss off. So, as we've discussed multiple times, this is a disaster thus far, but today we get the news that 2 more countries are going to be joining this free trade deal. Those countries would be Malaysia and Brunei. How do you pronounce it? Is it Brunei? Forgive me for not knowing exactly how to do it. Now, why is this news? Why is this so important? Well, 2 reasons. Number 1, being gay is illegal in those countries, punishable by death in one of them, and in the other one, they're much more liberal. You only get caned, and then you get locked up for up to 20 years. So they're the progressives out of these 2 countries here. But also, in Brunei, last year they literally implemented Sharia law. We just allowed them into our business negotiations. They have a seat at the table in a conversation about the world economy, and we want to do deals with them. They're our ally. And they just implemented Sharia law. So understand, women have no rights there. They banned the sale of alcohol. They have flogging, dismemberment, and death by stoning for crimes like adultery and sodomy. Our ally, who we just welcomed with open arms into the TPP negotiations. So, here's the moral of the story. If you're a business partner with America, you can do any goddamn thing you want to your own people, and we will support you. Look at Saudi Arabia. Look at this case with Brunei. Look at Chad. There's a dictator there that we support. Look at Uzbekistan. I didn't know about this until recently because, honestly, who the fuck knows about Uzbekistan? But there's a dictator in Uzbekistan who we support who literally boiled people alive. So I tell you this story to illustrate something in as clear a way as possible, and I think this does that. That the idea that America cares even a little bit about democracy and freedom and liberty around the world and that we should be the world policeman, it's utterly ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd. The bottom line is, here are the people who we like, here are the people who we protect, here are the people that we take care of and we don't say negative things about, people who are our business partners, and that's the end of it. Now, again, this leads us to make even dumber decisions than this, by the way. I know it's hard to get dumber than this, but to literally support a country that has Sharia laws, we pretend like we're so against it. But also, just like a story we discussed on the show yesterday, it didn't make it to YouTube, but it was on the live show yesterday. We do business dealings with Qatar. There was a big article in the Daily Beast yesterday about how one of the biggest and most popular mosques in Qatar, which is state-backed, they regularly invite jihadists to talk there and to say death to the Jews, death to America, death to everybody, and let's convert everybody, fuck all the infidels. I'm not kidding about this. So not only do we do business dealings with people who do Sharia, as we pretend to be so against Sharia, and we pretend that's the main reason why we're fighting ISIS, but also we make incredibly rich certain countries which almost officially talk about death to America and fuck the West and fuck the infidel. I mean, again, man, it's almost like we're making our own noose and then handing it to our allies, right? Like, why would we not realign everything in the opposite direction? I don't want to have any trade deals with Brunei when they have Sharia law. I don't want to make this little nation, Qatar, oil rich when they want to kill Americans. Why would we not set up an economy and set up a system where, for example, all of the natural gas, all of the oil that we produce here at home, and we produce a lot of it, why would we not sell that inside the U.S.? We make all of it and we ship it out. We send it to China, we send it to other places, and we ask, what do you mean? That's just how it works. We make our own oil and natural gas and we ship it over there, and then we import it from Qatar and from Saudi Arabia and from the Middle East. But that makes us dependent on people who fucking hate us. Why would we do that? And why would we want to be buddy-buddy with the country that just literally implemented Sharia law as we pretend like we're fighting ISIS and Al-Qaeda because they believe in Sharia law? The hypocrisy of it all and the stupidity of it all drives me crazy. Here's what rules the world: the almighty dollar, and that's it. There's no thinking about morality or a real ideological debate. There's no thinking about even nationality, right? Nationalism. That's not even in the conversation anymore, at least in the United States of America. It's clear that here's what runs our country: money. And the people that have all the money are making all the decisions, and those people are the elites, and they're not looking out for you and me, and they're certainly not looking out for the people who live in these other governments that we support where they're under Sharia law.